Picture a school in January. One wing freezing, another baking, and the plant tech getting calls at 2 a.m. The board is pushing for replacements, and the capital fund is empty. Hey there, welcome to On-Site Insight, where we talk about projects that move you toward equipment planning and away from crisis management. Today, how a handful of sensors and smarter controls can stop those midnight alarms and buy you budget time.
Right. Practical fixes, not miracle cures. We'll map out a 3-step playbook you can kick off in one maintenance cycle and measure the wins. Marcus is with us to walk through real tactics and the numbers you should expect. Marcus, start with who you are and one result that still makes you nod when you think about it.
I'm Marcus Reyes. I literally started my career on roofs, changing belts and contactors, so I still have the smell of roof tar stuck in my head. These days, I run targeted control projects for buildings that can't afford wholesale swaps.
No way. Started on roofs? Love that. Okay, what's one quick win you can point to?
Walked into a downtown office where 4 RTUs were cycling compressors 20 times an hour. We added simple lead lag staging, a couple of cycle and temp sensors, and cut starts by 70%. That kept the owner from doing a full replacement for 3 years and knocked down peak demand noticeably. 70%? That gets attention. So let's start at the beginning. When you pull up to a site and you have limited time, what does a triage look like? Keep it tight. 3 metrics plus a quick visual. Metric 1, runtime hours per week. Metric 2, compressor starts per hour. Metric 3, delta T across the coil, or supply versus return temp. If runtime is high, starts are frequent, and delta T drops under load, that unit jumps toward priority for retrofit or replacement.
So, runtime, starts, delta T. Got it. But what if the site has nothing instrumented? What's the bare minimum kit you bring to score those numbers?
Minimum kit. A clamp CT or smart relay to capture runtime and starts, a supply return temperature pair or a duct temperature sensor for delta T, and a static pressure sensor if the unit serves VAVs or variable fans. Snap-on sensors and a small gateway give you 2 to 4 weeks of baseline data without ripping into the control cabinet. That's useful. Quick follow. When those sensors go in, aren't you worried they'll just prove the unit's dying and force a replacement decision? Good question. Yes, sometimes you uncover mechanical failures, weak compressor, bad coil, and then you stop in scope replacement. But more often the data points to control faults, economizers stuck, bad staging, poor set points. That's why triage must include a contingency threshold. If sensors show catastrophic mechanical issues, pause the retrofit and move to replacement planning.
Makes sense. A guardrail so you don't throw good money after bad. Now, when you do decide to retrofit, give us 3 practical control changes that move the needle without upsetting occupants.
Right. Conservative, not aggressive. Quick interruption. When you say minimum run timers, how conservative are we talking? Start with 5 to 10 minutes minimum run before you allow the next stage to drop out. That length prevents short cycles, but isn't so long it flags comfort issues. Then monitor. If occupants complain, shorten it. If compressors are happier, keep it.
I want to push back a bit. I'm not sure I buy that every old control will cooperate. What about controllers that are flaky or proprietary and refuse to play nice with aftermarket logic?
Fair. When controllers are locked down, we fall back to external modules, a pre-programmed local controller in a test track, or an interposing relay logic panel. Pilot one unit with that approach, validate comfort and reliability, then either integrate into the BMS or keep the external control as a long-term mitigant, and always include a rollback plan. That's a good safety valve. Pilot first, then choose integration strategy. Okay, on the install side, managers need realistic labor expectations. How long and what crew size for a single RTU retrofit? Keep retrofits modular. Use clamp-on CTs and surface mount temps to avoid opening cabinets when possible. If you must change controllers, bring a pre-programmed unit and test it on a bench. For sensor mounts, wiring, and a control tune, 2 techs can usually finish a single RTU in a day. Pilot one, validate, then batch the rest to avoid overwhelming staff.
Good. Modular and batch. Now, procurement. How do we write a scope that actually clears a finance committee that wants capital projects only?
Frame it as a short-term performance-first pilot. Pilot 1 RTU for 30 days. Include defined acceptance tests tied to the triage metrics, and add a performance credit if targets miss. Example, target a 25% reduction in starts or 15% runtime reduction. If not met, contractor provides 2 weeks of tuning at no charge. Also include a rollback clause that returns the unit to baseline within 24 hours if comfort issues spike. That kind of language really helps procurement see it as measured risk, not a gamble. One more. How do facilities protect themselves from contractors overstating savings? Baseline everything for 2 to 4 weeks before you change anything. Define acceptance as the same metrics collected after retrofit. If possible, have an independent verifier sign off, a small auditor or an in-house engineer not on the project, and tie payments to validation milestones rather than just installation.
Nice. Let's make this actionable. Run us through the 3-step checklist in plain language and the KPIs to watch for the first 90 days.
Step 1. Triage. Walk the roof, score units on runtime, starts, and delta T, and put sensors on the worst offenders. Step 2. Retrofit. Pilot conservative sequencing, economizer fixes, and low-cost sensors on one unit. Step 3. Validate. Compare baseline versus post-retrofit metrics with defined acceptance tests and a rollback plan. KPIs. Percent runtime reduction, compressor starts per hour, delta T improvement, occupant comfort log entries, and demand KW where available. Short and usable. Quick expectation setting. What's a realistic payback window on these targeted fixes? Most pilots land between 12 and 36 months, depending on runtime and demand charges. If the unit runs long hours and is short cycling, you're usually toward the faster end. And the non-energy win, fewer emergency failures, lets you plan replacements instead of reacting to crises. Before we go, Marcus, one last practical tip for teams with limited hours to spare. Package it as a managed pilot. Single invoice line for install, one for baseline data, one for verification. Offer 1 day of cross-training for your techs during the pilot so they can own the rollout. That small people investment makes scaling much smoother and keeps knowledge on site. Great. And for listeners who want to act today, head to onsiteinsight.com/retrofit checklist to download the triage worksheet, sensor shopping list, and sample contract language. Pilot 1 RTU, tie payments to measured performance, and keep a clear rollback plan. That checklist will get you into a meeting with procurement with numbers, not promises.
And quick reminder, pilot first, validate, then scale. That keeps you out of emergency territory.
Thanks for having me. If anyone wants the sample acceptance test we use, grab it from the checklist page. And please, pilot 1 unit before you roll anything across a fleet. Thanks, Marcus, and thanks to everyone listening. If one of your RTUs keeps waking you at 2 a.m., try this playbook first. Small sensors, smarter sequencing, and a tight validation step can buy you time and keep occupants comfortable. Thanks for listening to ONSite Insight, where we talk about projects that move you towards equipment planning and away from crisis management.
Stay practical, stay on schedule. We'll see you next episode.